Good afternoon, everyone. Ladies and gents, welcome back. You know who it is by now. It's your host with the mostest. It's your boy, Just Mol. Today, I'm joined by the owner of Strange and Unusual Shop. That is, of course, Rhiannon. Rhiannon, thank you ever so much for joining me today. Rhiannon's store is located here in Barrow in the Town Hall Market, if I'm not mistaken. So you'll have to have a nice little gander on Google Maps if you want around Barrow, if you want, if you want to be able to locate it. Rhiannon, welcome. It's an absolute pleasure to have you here. So, of course, I've got 30 questions about yourself, about the store, and of course about the upcoming events that we do have. So, the upcoming event that we do have is, of course, this month on July 29th at the Cloud9 yet again with Roostars Rock Festival, 7 bands, 1 night. So my first question for you, Rhiannon, would be, why did you start your business?
Okay, so I obviously am quite alternative. This is me dressed down. I have been dressing this way since I was maybe about 10 or 11 years old. Always very into the style, kind of very into it, kind of alternative music, movies, kind of as an interest. And I started my business because as a teenager and a plus size teenager, I would walk into every single shop with all. It was just depressing to come kind of walk into kind of. I would always walk away empty-handed when my friends could just buy whatever they wanted. And it was something that really, really deeply affected me and kind of my body image and stuff like that. And so now, as an adult, and still as a plus size adult, it's a great kind of sort of move into kind of like slightly more bigger fashion labels kind of doing alternative stuff now, which makes the sizing options so much bigger, and that's great. But a lot of people don't know they're out there. And
Yes.
so kind of my kind of custom sizes, but it doesn't ever cost the user anything more to get it in a big size or a really extra small size. So it kind of came from that because obviously a really good goth staple is the choker, but so often they just don't fit people. So I started making my own because I was fed up with going into shops and nothing fitting me.
Yes, because a friend of mine, about maybe a year and a half ago, he made his own clothing line, and he didn't find any success in a month, and he decided to call it quits, which I kind of had a bit of a hissy fit with him with. I just sort of went, "What are you doing?" Like, I had another friend who had a clothing line as well called Grit Clothing, and that did very well for itself. They got some big stars. I think they even had maybe one or two from the UFC. And I just sort of went, you can't just quit
Wow.
after a month. You cannot quit after a month, because if it was after a year and you had no sales, I went, that's understandable. But after a month, you're not going to get anywhere after a month. You're a nobody. You're a nobody clothing line. It's going to take a while for you to get set up. And that's why, for my second question for you, is considering what I've just kind of stated about, a couple of my other friends, that have their own clothing lines. How did your business start out? There must have been some tough days, like I stated about my friends. They had some really tough days. They had some days where they were like, "Oh, I can't bother with this anymore. I'm just going to call it quits."
Yeah, they were definitely. And my business has been going, and when I left uni, and I did a degree completely not related to anything I do now. I did an acting degree, but I kind of got out of there. Didn't have the money to stay kind of like in London or in the kind of my uni town or anything. Did not have the money, had to move back home to really like kind of semi-rural Wales and had to just kind of think, right, what can I do? I'm disabled. I have autism. I also have. So I thought, right, I need to take some money and I need to start making it fast. What can I do? So I set up a shop on Etsy first of all to make
Mm.
kind of jewelry and everything like that. And so I went to Etsy first um, to kind of just get some money coming in, just start building stuff up because I realized, look, if this is something I want to do, even if I just do it for now and build up a good base of kind of customers on an Etsy shop, because some people do make amazing money on kind of Etsy or kind of creating their own things and selling from their own sites. So I thought I'm going to give it a try. I've always been really creative, so I thought I'll give it a go. Um, After that, then I can't quite remember where kind of who pointed me in the direction of him. I think it was someone really amazing at my local job centre just said to me, "Oh, look, contact the Prince's Trust because they help everybody who is in a position like yourself. You don't find that you've got a great idea." And they were really great, and they got helped me get together a really professional business plan. And also, I from them got an amazing grant to start my line of screen printed t-shirts, which I've been making more of today to go to the event on the 29th. Shameless plug. And they were really amazing with helping me get together everything I need professionally. So yeah, it was the Princess Trust really helped me out with that, and kind of then it sort of just started to grow, and then pandemic, life got complicated, and now I'm here in Barrow, and I thought I need to stop running this business out of my bedroom. So yeah, about 4 years after we started, we're here now.
I mean, that's just incredible. You know, there's something called gumption, and some people have it, some people don't. And you know, I myself can very much sort of sympathise with you, as I myself I do have mild autism, and so a lot of people are extremely surprised with that, and they go, "Oh, you're so outgoing, you're so talkative, you know, you're really outgoing." And I said, "Well, I wasn't originally. What really helped me in my early days was, as yourself probably, was performing arts." And I said, performing arts needs to be treated with a lot more respect. Needs to be. I do feel like schools that have those that suffer with learning difficulties, to kind of give them a nudge and go, maybe try out performing arts, because a lot of people that have similar difficulties as yourself and similar barriers in their lives, they have all done performing arts, and it's helped them massively.
And yeah, it's kind of, and I can see what you're saying kind of about the market. And I think I kind of saw it as an opportunity. I've never had a store or a physical like location anyway. I've always been kind of like traveling to craft fairs and kind of, little kind of Christmas events in village halls, which sometimes I went down like a little bit of a lead balloon with what I sell. So it was kind of like, and I was in a position of I couldn't afford a shop. I couldn't afford kind of everything, all of the costs that come with a big shop on the high street. I couldn't do it. But to come in here, and it's then this sort of, you get a shop, it's little and it's surrounded lots of other shops, but it's still a shop. And you can come in and essentially do whatever you want with it, and make it your own. And I have found such an amazing community here, and I know because of the renovation and kind of people have thought, oh, I'm going to move out, or I'm going to, well, this contract isn't for me, I'm going to move out. But those of us that are staying, we've kind of all sort of really come together and become quite close knit now, and we're really trying to help each other out. Because the people in here and that work alongside me, I've got to say, they have been an absolutely amazing support system. Along with my autism and kind of everything I have to deal with anyway, I've got a vocal and motor tic, that it can be really loud. My head can jerk, or my body, or kind of I can kick my legs or flail my arms, and it is really unusual for people to kind of see for the first time. And I used to be so self-conscious about it, but everyone who works here has absolutely embraced it, and kind of we have a little joke about it, and it's just an environment in which I can totally be myself. And if that happens, and I'm in the middle of work, I like literally like. Sometimes it can sound a bit like I'm making like T-Rex noises, or I'm like screaming at people. And they just, it's kind of quite similar to Tourette's. A little joke gets made about it and everyone moves on. And it is something that I've never had before around people, that they're so accepting of it. So it's really lovely.
We're amazing at. I think that's what us Northerners, especially us Northern Westerners, are very, very good at. Because what we have a perfect balance of is dark and goofy humour. We've got a perfect blending mixture of dark. So you've got the northwestern sort of dark humour, but then you've got Scotland's sort of, Scotland's dark humour. Dark humour in Scotland's an awful lot darker than what it is here in the northwest of the UK, which I had found out myself after meeting lots of folks from Scotland. And I'm just and then you've got Ireland as well. That's a completely different story. But I've noticed perfectly that with folks from the northwest, we have very goofy humour. We can be really kid-like, silly, and just take the mickey out of our friends. So with I had an old close friend group that we had no line that you could cross. You could just give it to each and every single one of us every day. And some people saw what we were like behind closed doors, like out in the open, and everyone's like, "How are you friends?" But because we're the only people that can do this to each other. Like, no one else can do this to us, but only we can. And we all have that friendship group or that one friend that you can be like that with. And there's no line to cross. You just know that I know how to wind them up. I know how to get on the nerves, and I'm just going to get the stick out and poke them with it. So I can understand how, there's one thing that I will always praise Barrow for, and that is without a doubt the community factor and the unity that the folks of Barrow really are phenomenal at. The first time that I really saw it when I was a little bit younger, I went to watch our local football team play, and you really saw the camaraderie, you really saw the unity and the togetherness, even though if the football club wasn't really playing all that well. And I remember when we were back into the lowest tier of football. But what was so beautiful about it is that when the team started to play better again, and that you could tell that the players that they had were wearing the badge with pride and they loved playing for Barrow, that's when I would say the spirit started to go back up, and you started to see people a bit more, energetic and, back to their usual styles. Because I always say this about everything, and it's perfectly well said in the Disney Plus, Welcome to Wrexham series, that sports really has the ability to bring people together, as well does music. But there's something about a sports team or a sport club or whatever it could be that can bring so much unity to a town and bring so much excitement, joy. When we were brought back into the football league, we were all going crazy. The whole town, it was like the Queen had been, just been named the Queen again, or it was a jubilee or whatnot. Like, this whole town partied for about 2 weeks straight, just going out drinking, having a laugh. That's what a sports team can do, or music, etc. But I have noticed that specifically with a football club or a sports club, really does do that. Because and I just really find it amazing that because people here can be very nasty. I've noticed it. People can be very nasty around here, but a lot of the times you find that they're actually very kind and welcoming, going, "Oh, well, welcome to Barrow," etc. And you really do feel like you belong here, which is what I will always praise the people of Barrow for. So my next question would be, how are you finding it in Barrow? Have you settled in now? It must be very difficult to come from a place, in Wales, to then go all the way up to the northeast, and even Newcastle's further up than us, slightly on the northeast coast, but then having to come back down to the northwest coast, and you go to Barrow, which is just slightly above Blackpool. For me, I think I would prefer to grow up in Blackpool because there's a lot more stuff for you to do there. But Barrow has its own beauty, it has its own grace and and blessings, and of course we're not too far away from the Lake District as well as Blackpool. We're only about an hour away from Blackpool. So if you do want to go for a day away to Blackpool or a weekend away to Blackpool, you can easily make a simple trip to Blackpool if you wanted to. So yeah, like how are you finding it in Barrow? You're getting all settled in now and everything's all good?
Yeah, we started in really well. I feel good when I wake up in the morning and I come to work and there's kind of friendly faces around. Who every single person when I come in the morning says good morning to me, and a lot of it it's like customers will come in and everyone will say hello, even if kind of like they don't know me or they're not interested in my shop. They'll still say hello. They'll say good morning. It's a really lovely thing to be around. I'm not entirely naive to the fact that Barrow does have its problems. It does have its
100%.
issues, like most towns do. But I grew up quite near Newport in South Wales, and it has a lot of the same problems as Barrow. So it's kind of almost sort of as if I'm quite used to it and I'm quite just understanding of it. And so it's one of those things where kind of like it's, and to be very, very kind and very tongue in cheek about it, it's almost a little bit like you can sometimes polish the turd. And even if it does have its rough edges, it's still I feel happy living here. And I think it's kind of a thing of my life has been so unsettled for so long. Just various things that kind of have happened, kind of, in my personal life and kind of with everything that I've been through and dealing with kind of my health issues and stuff like that. I'm relatively healthy and happy, and it's a lovely place to be, even if kind of maybe people that maybe don't live here don't appreciate that sometimes, or kind of they do feel like a little bit like I need to get out of here. It's somewhere that I think I found just a little bit of happiness, and it's so lovely. And like you were saying, the music kind of scene and everything around here. I had never been to any events around here before. The Green Days gig that was on last month, I went along to that, and I have never been in a room full of people, complete strangers, and I'd never met anyone before. I had a great time. I
Yeah.
stayed out all night, had fun, and as somebody who has such major social anxiety, I've never been able to do that before. I've never been able to go anywhere and be at ease and just talk to people and have a good time. And I was not worried at any point in the evening, kind of like, as people with anxiety know, all of those intrusive thoughts and everything and worries and kind of things like that. I did not have that at all. And I kind of, I made new friends, I met new people, and it was really great.
Yeah, that's amazing, because, the music scene here in Barrow has always been bonkers. It's always been at a very good standard here. It has, especially before the pandemic sort of came along. We had an awful lot of bands. Even my younger brother was in a band at one point, and it's just sort of one of those things where the music scene here in Barrow has always been very, very strong. It's always been very strong, and we do love very good music. So when we had, of course, the lads of Well Rid, they came here, and they weren't expecting. I went out with those guys at the end of the night because they were hammering on at me, going, "Oh, come on, you're coming out for a few drinks, etc." And so I said, "Right, okay, I'll come out for a few drinks." Before I knew it, I got home at about 3:30 in the morning. So those boys can drink. So before I knew it, they were like, we didn't expect to do as well, because they sold an awful lot of merchandise and everybody loves them. And I just sort of went, and I remember just being outside having a smoke with the guys, and they were just really dumbfounded. They just didn't know what to say, etc. And I just simply said to him, I went, if you come to Barrow and people in Barrow like your music and they're buying your merchandise, trust me, you've made it. Especially here for around the northwest area, especially because Barrow is a very big part. I would say Barrow and Kendal are probably the top two places when it comes for music, because Kendal is known for its performing arts, I would say, as I myself went there to study performing arts myself, so I know that it's massive in its performing arts and without a doubt its music. And its music scene, whilst Barrow is also very heavily invested in its music scene, as well as sport. I would say rugby is the main one in Barrow. It's probably rugby. But the football, there are more, I think there's more of a bigger crowd for the football, normally is the case for the sport, than it is with rugby. But, my goodness, the music scene here in Barrow has always been amazing. And I just simply told the guys, I went, if the people of Barrow are liking your music, trust me, they're not messing around. They're not clowning around. They mean it. So keep your heads held high, because that is a very impressive thing. Because Barrow is a very tough judge. They are very, very tough to crack. My goodness. So speaking of music, what type of genre or genres are you sort of really heavily focused into?
Um, First of all, I'm glad Wellroad had such a good time. They played a great gig, and they're absolutely lovely. And I'm glad I think they're coming back. So yeah,
Yeah.
um, fabulous. As per, I'm really malleable on genres I like. I'm not a genre snob by any means. I'll listen to anything, and if I don't like it, then I don't listen to it again. So I'll give most things a listen. I've listened to lots of the same stuff kind of growing up, and I still listen to it now. Like I don't think I've grown out of anything. Like a huge influence with me probably since I was about maybe 11 or 12. My Chemical Romance,
Oh wow,
absolutely
that's a wild one.
huge. Yeah,
That's
absolutely huge influence on me.
yes. For me, it was Panic at the
Um,
Disco. Panic at the Disco still to this day.
yeah, I wasn't huge into Panic, but a couple of songs I really love.
Oh, this
Kind
most of
of
their
more
stuff I
into
love.
goth, like
I don't know.
Sisters of Mercy was a huge one.
Oh,
I highly recommend. They've been around since like the 80s, like goth kind of like goth central. Susie and the Banshees, Cure, um, David Bowie,
oh, of
um,
course.
of course.
I still love that song that he had from the Labyrinth. I'm sorry,
That's one of my favorite
I still
films,
love
like
that
ever.
song.
Like,
Is that the baby with the baby with the power, the voodoo hoodoo you do? I'm like, oh, that
yeah.
song still to this day still hits.
And I think because obviously growing up in Wales as a teenager, it was the Welsh kind of music scene was really important to me. So like Kids in Glass Houses, they were kind of like a pop punk sort of band. The Blackout. I think they're going on tour this year. They're back. Or next year. They're back. They're amazing. The Blackout. A great little band that you may not have heard of. Exit International. And they were kind of like a really grungy sort of sound. South Wales Valley's an amazing band that I still natter about, much to their annoyance. But yeah, kind of, and all kind of around that music scene, we're kind of bands from like Cardiff and the surrounding valleys, and the Blackout are like from Merthyr. So it's like all of those bands that would play kind of like a couple of times a year in kind of towns and stuff where I would live. So yeah, amazing bands.
Right, so I've got one more question for you. We've got about 6 minutes left. Uh,
Okay,
so my last question for you is: are you looking forward to the event on July 29th?
so much. Uh, like I get to show up and I get to meet people, and I'm bringing so much new stuff, new batches of screens, t-shirts, and have kind of back patches, jackets, kind of loads of cotton prints, stuff like that. Maybe some bags, umbrellas, random stuff, but just like cool designs on everything. So yeah, I'm bringing loads of new stuff, and I get to show it to all of these new people who've never seen my stuff before, and go and see some amazing bands. So yeah, I'm absolutely looking forward to it so much.
Because I do have something that I am going to be announcing right now, and that is we have a ladies' night coming in August. Unfortunately, the gents' night has been taken away, unfortunately, because Ed thought it was a bit too much. But there is still a ladies' night coming, and I believe that is still on the 27th of August. Tickets are £5 as well, so you got two of the hottest male strippers in the world. I'm just going to say it. And of course, we've got an amazing drag queen for you all as well. And then, of course, next year, I'm actually now officially able to make this announcement. We've had many people asking for this band to come to Barrow. And that is none other than Lady Rage. All female heavy metal band coming to Cloud9 next April. And guess who's opening up for them, ladies and gents? It's none other than our good friends, Well Rid. They are coming back next April and they are opening for Lady Rage. They are coming back. Ed's giving me the green light to do so. And trust me, the more you get behind these events, we have got some massive names that could potentially be coming for next year. And when I say massive names, I mean massive names that potentially are coming for next year. Like, I've been on many phone calls and FaceTimes and etc. with Ed, and he's told me many times that we've got some massive names that could potentially be coming next year. So get behind these events. Most of these events, if not all of these events, at the moment in time, are £5 per ticket. They're only £5 per ticket. So get yourselves over to the website that you'll see in the description for yourselves to be able to get your tickets for these upcoming events. They're all £5. I think they're actually £10 because I tell a fib. The only reason why they are £5 is for all of you, my listeners. So all of my listeners, you will get your tickets for just £5. All you need to do is reach out to me, whatever social media platform it is. Reach out to me, and I will contact Ed with your contact information, and he will reach out to you, and he will sort your tickets out for just £5. That's for all my listeners as well. So that is everything that I have. You kind of answered my other question, which was, did you enjoy the event at Green Days? I was like, well, yes, you did. So you kind of answered it as well. But yes, it was an amazing event that we had. It was a shame that there was a couple of other events on during that night, so which may have hindered some more people coming. Happens. But overall, it was still a very good turnout. We still had a very good laugh. Still had an amazing time. This time, it's going to be a lot different. There's still tickets available, but you best hurry. You better be quick, because you've literally got, I would say, 11 days. You've got 11 days before the event. So get yourselves to the website or to the link that you see in the description to get your tickets for £5. Rhiannon, thank you ever so much for joining me today as well. It's been absolutely a pleasure to get to know you, and
no problem.
First of all, as well, welcome to Barrow as well. It's always amazing to meet someone that is a little bit like myself. They've had a bit of hardship in their lives, with a lot of obstacles in the way, but they never allowed those obstacles to get to stay in the way. However, they tried to overcome them, whether it was climb through them, break down the walls, and just keep walking on through. I always have immense pride in myself when I meet people that do have learning difficulties or disabilities, because, and they are literally like myself in a manner of sense. They've stayed strong. Doesn't matter, how much that they've gone through. I always have immense pride in me, because I go, this is what people are capable of. The people that everybody doesn't think is as strong as them normally are the strongest, because we have to go through all that adversity. We have to go through all that punishment in a manner of sense to be able to probably be the brightest and biggest diamond in the rough that you'll ever see. So thank you ever so much, Rhiannon. It's been a pleasure chatting with you, and I look forward to meeting you at the event.
Yeah, no problem. It's been great chatting to you. And just thank you to everybody so far who supported Strange and Unusual Shop in Barrow Market Hall. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you ever so much, Rhiannon. I will see you at the event. Thank you ever so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye now. We'll see you all next time, folks. Good night.